Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jelly, and welcome to my channel. And today's video is going to be talking about something recently that we as a community have kind of noticed, and might have some answers for you guys. So we're going to talk about it. Today's video is not going to be like super duper long or anything like that. So let's just jump straight into it while I'm doing some background work here. So first things first, a lot of people have noticed that they're not creating new servers anymore when it comes to creating a new account. I can't actually create a new character on PC, but they're not creating any more new servers, and they haven't since 2308. That is the last newest server that they have created, and it's definitely led to a lot of questions about what is going on. What's their plan, what's happening in the background, and people want to know. And I was obviously curious myself, so I went ahead and I figured out, and I don't want to say I figured out, but I did ask some questions, and I got one answer that I don't know if I 100% believe, but I guess I kind of have to take them at their face value. So I'm going to pull up my Discord really quickly for you guys. I'm going to show you guys the exact conversation that was being had. So I'm actually just going to take a screenshot of the conversation. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what this says. As you can read on screen, I said, "Hey, are you guys done making servers?" ? Person reached out to me. They responded to me by saying, "Hi, we are currently not opening new servers. Going forward, the rollout schedule for newer servers will be dynamically adjusted based on multiple factors, including server activity data." Now, there is quite a bit of rumors around that, and we're going to talk about that here as soon as we're done with this message. And the second half of her message says, "For servers that have completed Season 2 transfer phase or are further along, new players will continue to be introduced during each offseason. We hope these new arrivals will bring more activity, new interactions, and fresh energy to the established servers." Now, as you can see here at the end of mine, screenshot here, I'm curious to see what their plan is, and we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Let's kind of just talk about the first things first, which is the fact that new servers aren't popping up. Like what's happening with that? Why, I just read to you with kind of what I asked and what I was told. And the truth is, look at this whole new server thing just as in, yeah, this is a new server, or no new servers are being made. It got taken wildly out of context. Now, from my messages with her, you can clearly see that they're trying to move in the direction of making old inactive servers to be more active. Now, let's break that down a little bit further. Now, obviously, we have known that one of the biggest issues in the game for so long is that after a while, burnout becomes very, very real and servers die. That's not like it's not a guess. That's not something that could be happening. That's not a rumor. That is just physically true. Now, with what they're saying, and if this is true and exactly what they're saying is going to be what's happening, this could be really, really, really good news for the community as a whole, for older servers, for even newer servers, and for players in general. Now, the reason, obviously, that this is such big news is because we're 2,308 servers currently is what they have up and running, and of those 2,308, you're lucky if maybe 50% of them have an active player base of over 100 players. I feel like there's a lot of servers that just are completely dead. Now, no fault to their own. People don't want to play the game anymore. They get burned out and stuff like that. But for so long, we as a community have been trying to find an answer for that. And a lot of it is just, let's continue to build up one server, which leads to inactivity there, because after winning for so long, as we talked about a few videos ago, when you win so much because you have no competition, the game doesn't become fun. It feels more like a chore when you're just constantly winning and you have to log on, hit your minimums to log off, or, maybe there's a community around you. Obviously, there's a million and one things, but this could be a huge step in the right direction if that's the case. Now, talking about the second half of the message there, which is, I'm trying to unpack. And my question is, how is that going to work? How are they going to put new players into older servers? Are they going to go about this the way of, well, I guess you could look at it a couple of different ways, right? Are they going to go about the way of, we're just going to have them start from HQ1, or is there going to be like, if you're joining an older server, you get HQ30, like everybody gets a set, like you start at HQ30, your tech starts at X, Y, and Z. Like there is a specific starting point to make the game easier for them and obviously more accessible. Or the third option in my brain, the only other thing that would make sense is if they start giving old accounts to new players coming in. So plenty of people have deleted their LastWar accounts, and those accounts are literally just known as Commander anymore. They don't even show up in the top of the charts anymore. They're not top hero power, anything like that. So I'm curious to see if that's something that they do. And there is obviously a couple of catches with that. Now, first things first, if you do one of the second or if you do one of the last two suggestions that I just talked about, you put yourself into a situation where people come into this as a base building game and they like to be able to build things themselves. They like to be able to grow, they like to be able to see the growth, they like to have that motivation to get to the next level. So if you're automatically starting them at 30 or even further on, you're kind of killing that portion of the game for new players. Obviously, the second catch to it is on the flip side. If you are a player that is HQ 35, you've been grinding free to play for so long, you have worked your butt off to get to where you're at, and all of a sudden, all these new players are coming in and they're just getting pretty much the exact same thing as you. That doesn't really seem fair, I guess is the proper way to put it. I don't know how to I don't know what my stance on that would be. What I do know is that my stance on this is a overwhelming and astounding good thing in general. Now, the reason why I believe it is such a good thing for Last War to be heading in this sort of ish direction is mainly because, again, those old servers are dying. It's very, very well known. And what this does is this instead has the implications of making those servers revived again, whether people are starting at level 1 or level 30, having more active players joining those servers is obviously a huge win for not only those servers, but the players in those servers in general, because now there's more people joining there. Now you can actually play as a server again. Now Warzone Duel is going to have more people showing up. So there's a lot of positive with that. That's kind of my stance on at least what I was told. And now for the second half of this video, we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the rumors about what has happened, what is going to be happening, why did they implement this change, and basically what is the community thinking about? Well, first things first, let's get the main one out of the way that I've kind of heard a little bit now is that they're trying to pretty much stop the game from growing. I don't know if I believe that, like if that makes sense. I don't believe that they're trying to kill their own game. I believe that they've made a lot of mistakes and they might be trying to right some of their mistakes, and that's going to be another video here in the future. And by future, I'm going to be wearing the same stuff because I'm recording like 4 or 5 videos in one sitting. It's going to be fun to edit all these. But regardless, I don't think they're intentionally doing it. I think obviously mistakes have been made, things have been done. You can't, it's irreversible damage in some instances, and also sometimes it's just an image issue. But overall, I think this is a good direction. Regardless, that's kind of the first thing that I've heard. I would throw that out the window. I don't think that's what's happening at all. And I think everybody watching this video should also understand that's not what's happening. Another thing, another like theory that I've heard is, and this is kind of a funny one because people are blaming me and a couple other people. They're saying that 2300 is the reason why they stopped making new servers because 2300 has so many super mega whales plus just such a huge active player base that we're really not going to have much of a competition. And by that, I mean, sure, we're not going to be a perfect server and we will eventually lose some stuff. But overall, having as much of an active server as we have with the great community that we have here, the great players that we have here, the great leadership and everything in general, like look at all these mushrooms. This is just my alliance. Look at all these mushrooms. Just put that image on your screen. This is what 2300 is. Then this is just one alliance. We are incredibly strong as an alliance. We're already gift level 18, I do believe, or 19, sorry. We're gift level 19 already. And we're on I'm going to go check this out really quickly so I can make sure I'm giving you 30 days. 30 days in and we're almost gift level 20. So yeah, that's another rumor I've heard. I don't know. I cannot confirm nor deny. What I can confirm is that we are definitely kicking butt. All right. Like this server is fantastic. It's huge. It's loaded. That's all I can say. I don't know much about that rumor. I have heard it from a couple of different places. There is a Reddit thread, I think. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked into it too much, but yeah. So as you can see here on screen, I have something pulled up. It's a screenshot here. And this is kind of another thing that we're talking about here. I think that the idea and the thought process behind this could be fantastic is with the new servers changing, coming along, they might be trying to shrink that server group, that seasonal server group. And this part here that I find incredibly fascinating is that they're going to be trying to timeline them up together, which would be phenomenal for the game as a whole, because as we have seen before, where the very first server in a server grouping and the very last server in a server grouping have like a almost a month difference between. That's an entire glittering market. That's an entire, sometimes it's multiple months, like 3 or 4, and that's multiple stores of advantage that very first server has over the very last servers. Now, we've talked about that quite a bit on my channel here, is just talking about the huge disparity between like the top servers and the bottom servers. And what this would do is this would balance that pretty hardcore. Now, they would try to have to balance this in a different way besides just like releasing stores at the same time, because of the fact that sure, you don't have to release stores at the same time, but realistically having a 30-day head start, just even in terms of, sorry, I had to flip my hat around, it was bothering me, but having a 30-day head start without stores, but even just in terms of like, arms race and VS and stuff like that, that is a very, very, very big difference in terms of like of resources, in terms of what HQ level are you going to be, all of that. So this is a great screenshot. I just want to say I appreciate you, Blue, by the way, for the screenshot. And this is again the bottom of the screenshot here is another great point to back up what I was saying. For people that thinking it's the end of the game, it's not. It's not. It's that simple. It's not going to be. It's going to be interesting to see what actually happens and how do they balance that whole old server versus new server thing, and continuing forward with that, like with all of the changes that they're still continuing to make. And then here is another thing right here on screen. I'm going to try to go ahead and move my screen, my camera. This is what I was referring to earlier. So when I was talking about, some people had the idea that our server might have been the reason for this. I don't think that one super mega server like ours is going to be the reason for this. It could definitely be part of the thought process there, but we'll see. This last line here I find great. The devs realize 2300 is a set to decimate all of their servers in their grouping, so 2308 is intended to provide some competition. But yeah, so there's a lot there to talk about. It's gonna be crazy to see, right? It's gonna be crazy to me. But yeah, that's gonna be this video on just servers, like the whole idea with them potentially shutting down the game and why new servers aren't being created. Simply put, I think the real answer is they are going to be trying to reutilize some of those older servers, because I was talking to my wife a little bit about this because she plays the game too, or played the game. And why would you continue to make new servers propping up? So we're at 2,308 servers in the game. You're propping up 2,308 servers. You're running 2,308 dedicated servers, so all these different players can play on the servers. Well, let's say server 143 has 40 active players, but server 2,040 has almost 1,000 active players. So you're now having to run two servers, despite the fact that one server clearly needs that much more attention than another one. And by creating more and more servers all the time, you're having to run more and more support for all those servers. So instead of doing that, backfilling these other servers is a great opportunity for them to finally fill in all of that gap. Now, the only other flaw with that is, again, like if you make a new account and for some reason it's in server like 500, you're now all the way through season 6, so you didn't experience the game at all, pretty much is what it feels like. So yeah, that's gonna pretty much do it for today's video. I just wanted to put some thought out there, and I wanted to share exactly what I was told by the dev team, basically why they're doing this, and I wanted to put that out there for you guys. I appreciate you all so much, and yeah, same apparel, same everything for the next few videos. Appreciate you all. Jelly out.